welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be making a piece like this one. It is made with a Scapolite Gemstone and copper wire. If you'd like to see me create this, then continue watching. And here's the gemstone that we're going to be using today. And it measures about 3/4 of an inch. Alright, these are the tools that we'll be using today, standard tools, as well as 18 gauge copper wire and 26 gauge copper wire. They're both gold in color. Let's start by measuring and cutting 9 inches of the wire. And let's go ahead and get half of that, which is 4.5 inches. Alright. And just bend it completely in half around your gemstone. Then we're going to continue to wrap around the gemstone completely to form the shape of the stone. Just basically bending the wire around the stone like that. Alright. You can use a Sharpie or just remember where it was to mark the top middle. This is where we're going to bend it to form the neck of our piece. And I'll just take the needle nose pliers and go just to the side of the center and make a 90-degree bend upward. And I do the other side the same way, 90-degree bend upward. Like that. Of course, you can straighten it and maneuver it, but basically, this is the gist of it. Alright. Now get the 26 gauge wire and start wrapping around that neck that you just created. We're just going to keep wrapping around until we get enough to form a bale. I didn't measure how many wraps I did, but I'm just going to wrap until I think I have enough to make a complete bale. I just want to make sure that as I'm wrapping, I'm keeping them close and pushed together and not on top of each other. Just a few more wraps here, and then I'll measure how far along I've gotten. It's probably about an inch or so, but let's see. Yeah, just shy of an inch, so I think I'll give it just a few more wraps. Well, actually, that's enough. That's enough wrapping, so let's go ahead and get the bale formed. I have my bale making pliers here, and I'm going to use the second to the smallest and go ahead and bend the wire around. Alright, there we go. Looks good, and I think I'm going to just squeeze it in here a little bit. Just press it a little close. Like that. There we go. And then I will continue to wrap around that bale using the 26 gauge wire. Alright, I'll just give it about 1 or 2 wraps here. 1 and 2. I think that's good for now. Let's go ahead and snip the 26 gauge wire. Go ahead and snip it off and press it in. And there we are. All right, so now this is what we have so far. All right, now I'm going to turn the piece to the back, and we're going to spread these two wires apart like a V, like so. All right, then just give it a bit of a curve as you spread it apart. There we go. Now you're going to take your needle nose pliers and right there, just before the outside of that wire, you're going to bend it inward and just give it a curve around. We're going to do the other side the exact same way, just barely on the outside there, and bend it inward and curve it a bit at the bottom. All right, there we go. Next, you want to get a piece of the 26 gauge wire. This is just a scrap piece. It's about 2 or 3 inches or so. Anyway, I'm going to bend it here, and at the bend that I made there, I'm going to just wrap it around maybe 2 or 3 times just to secure the back to the front. Yeah. Make sure they're pushed close together and neat. And try to get the end to be on the inside of the frame here. All right. Good. All right, so now I'll just go ahead and snip this piece off here. And basically just go ahead and repeat the same on the opposite side with that extra piece that I just cut off. Okay, now we go ahead and do this side. Same way, just give it a few wraps, maybe twice around. I think I did 2 on the other side. Whichever way you do it, just make sure they're equal wraps. All right, now that I've wrapped both sides there, let me tighten this a little bit. There we go. All right, now we're going to move to the bottom of the piece right here in the center where the wires are. I'm just going to use my finger to bend this downward like that, both sides. Here we go. And basically just put them together parallel like that. All right. So now what we're going to do is wrap this piece. So we go back to the 26 gauge wire that I have here. I'm going to wrap right here, starting right here. I'm just going to give it a few wraps. I actually left the wire on the spool because I don't know how many wraps I'm going to do. So that's 2, 3. Make sure they're pressed close together. I think I'm going to snip here. So far that's 3 wraps. And then I got to straighten them and flatten them and make sure they're not on top of each other. So all in all, it'll probably be about 6 wraps. All right, let's go ahead and pull that over and flatten it. All right, this pull over. flatten that piece. I actually need to snip this little piece here off. All right, and go ahead and flatten that as well. Sorry for going off camera, guys, but this is a close-up. Anyway, front and back. Now I'm going to take these two wires that we just wrapped and spread them apart like that. And I'm going to wrap around I'm going to wrap starting with this one side here. And I'm going to keep the wire on the spool because I'm going to wrap the length of this wire. So there are no particular number of wraps. All I'm doing is wrapping this entire piece. All right. Not sure if I want to do the other side as well, but so far I'm just wrapping this one side. Get that situated here. All right, so just continue my wrap. I'm just wrapping around the one wire and making sure they're not on top of each other. Just continue the length of the wire. I'm not sure about this one yet though. All right, I've wrapped the entire length of this wire. Now I'm going to trim this piece of wrapping wire off right there. And now I'm just going to flatten this down and straighten the wire a bit and push it close together, and just make it look neat. Then I'm going to align these two side by side so they're parallel. I decided not to do the other wire. I want to see how this turns out. But you're welcome to do the other wire like that if that's what you like. But this is what I want to do. Now I'm going to grab the gemstone. Just put it in there. It should be a snug fit, and it is. So I'm just going to press it in a little bit, kind of trying to form an indentation, like a little well for it to sit into. Yeah. All right. All right, now I'm going to take the two long wires here and bend them over the front, the cabochon, just over the top front of it. Now I'm just going to play around with it a while, trying to get it seated properly and figure out which way I'm going to bend these wires and how I'm going to make the stone stay in place. Well, let's see, I think I'll just bend this one over and around to the back of the bale. Okay, maybe I'll do this one too. Just bend that around also to the back. Then I'll just come to the front with both of those wires like this. And I guess just bend it down all the way like that. And let me see. All right, well, this is looking kind of weird. Okay, I think I'm just going to make some coils out of these two wires here. Just bend them inward, maybe. That looks weird too, but I think it's looking better than it was before. Just gotta play around with it for a little bit. Alright, so I ended up adding some 26 gauge wire just to make sure the stone stays in place. This is pretty much the finished product. I didn't show it on camera because it's just, as you can see, it's just stringing through where I thought the gem might potentially fall out. And that's it. So thank you guys for joining me for this episode of From Fee to You. I hope to see you again soon. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye for now.